I now want to talk about some new initiatives, again, just a subset of what we're doing, and if I can get this right, I think we'll have our first movie.
The Duke University School of Medicine Office for Faculty Development promotes career growth, success, and well-being of faculty through a variety of professional development programs that distinguishes Duke among its peer medical schools.
We are a research-intensive school, and so a lot of our programs are focused on helping young researchers really develop a solid foundation. So we take people early on in their career, they're just starting out, they're just starting to drive their research agenda, and they need to kind of get people on board and get people working toward their goals. So we need to give them all the tools that they possibly can use to succeed.
So I think the leadership that's here is very committed to help young faculty to grow and to develop their career.
Two of the office's signature programs are the Leader Program, that teaches participants how to develop and manage a scientific lab or research program, and the Mentoring Program, run by the Office for Faculty Mentoring, that coordinates 2 grant writing workshops. The Path to Independence program assists junior investigators in securing their first independent R01, R03, or R21 funding, and the K Club helps junior faculty prepare career development grant applications.
Most junior faculty who come into Duke do not have that training, and so they need to have that training in order to be able to be competitive at this level.
Every grant that goes out the door is internally reviewed first, so that by the time we get to the NIH, it's the best possible product that can go out the door.
Workshops in grant writing focus on developing concise, focused aims and abstracts, and writing a clear and compelling career development plan.
It gave me deadlines that I had to meet for writing the grant. With this in mind, I knew I was writing the grant and was going to have peers at Duke review it. And you know, the pressure of knowing that this was going to be read by my peers made me put together a really good product 2 months ahead of time.
If they only stick with our program, by the time it starts until it ends, that grant's been looked at by 6 or 7 people.
I think the most helpful aspect to me was learning that there is a network of support within Duke. There are people dedicated to mentoring, so I'm very grateful for that.
The Leader Program is an interactive 3-day workshop that helps junior faculty develop leadership and team-building skills.
So as a scientist, I have been trained extensively in doing science. We know how to analyze a problem, we know how to derive the solution. What we don't know about is how to manage a research enterprise. So it's absolutely fantastic that Duke is making an effort to provide these types of training, provide these workshops for the junior faculty to make sure that they are able to achieve maximum success.
And I feel that Duke has a strong commitment to very quickly immersing the new faculty in what the new job will entail and really trying their best to equip them to succeed.
People who are good enough to come to Duke are good enough to stay at Duke. And so that means we're going to make the investment to keep people here.
So that's obviously an advertisement for the Office for Faculty Development, but I figured this was a great occasion to make sure that people here know about it, because it is a tremendous resource. And it also connects to some of the things that I'm going to mention now. Same office, Office for Faculty Development, recently took advantage of a gift from a donor to start a program that they call the Faculty Flex Voucher Program. And the idea here is that junior faculty members have a lot on their hands, a lot of things to think about, as you've just heard in the movie, but often have child care or elder care or family illness issues that they also need to think about. And so the point of these vouchers is to give an extra boost to help junior faculty members facing challenges in work-life balance get some extra academic support, whether it's help writing a paper or a grant, or library services, or biostatistics services from the Duke Office for Clinical Research. Just give that extra push to help get a grant or a paper or a project done. So far in the first round, we awarded 18 vouchers totaling approximately $41,000. And if this is successful, and the preliminary signs are that it will be, we will use more from this gift to continue. You heard again in the video about the wonderful way that our senior faculty members have stepped up to help their junior colleagues with learning how to write K-award applications and research grant applications. And we wanted to recognize, and in particular I should say Mark Dewhurst wanted to recognize those faculty members who are really giving a lot more than one might expect of them. And so he's established an Academy of Mentors. It includes 25 senior faculty members from many fields who have that commitment to help their junior colleagues succeed, particularly in getting research funding. Now turning to some initiatives for the students. Very recently we announced the Point Dexter Scholars in Basic Sciences program. One of our alumni, John Point Dexter, a hematologist in Virginia, gave us a wonderful endowment gift that will provide several students each year with a $15,000 scholarship to support research during their third year of medical school if they work for 10 or more months in basic science labs. Applications are being collected now. It'll begin this summer. And I think that this will be very, very helpful for those students who are interested in this type of work. Also, very recently, we've opened a student interprofessional clinic. It was somewhat challenging to work through the logistics, but at last we have a clinic that is centered on education that meets in the evenings in Duke South for patients referred from the emergency department. Something that's very special about this clinic, and peer schools have student clinics, but ours is a collaboration with the School of Nursing, and it involves MD, PA, PT, and nursing students working together in the clinic in teams, learning how to work in teams with multidisciplinary preceptors, preparing for their future careers where this kind of teamwork is going to be essential. We recently, last December, were approved by the trustees for our 9th degree program in the School of Medicine. This is our Masters of Biomedical Science program. You see an advertisement here. I mentioned it briefly last year. This program targets prospective applicants to medical school, students who want to improve their record for medical school, get a bit of a boost before they apply. This is not a post-bac program, but this is for students who have had their pre-med requirement courses already, but want to start to move into education that's more similar to what they'll have in medical school. Importantly, it's not just for pre-med students or pre-health profession students, and in fact, I should have said all health professions, not just medical school, but it's also for students who are seeking careers where graduate education in the biomedical sciences is valuable, but where spending the extra time to complete a PhD isn't really necessary. This is an 11-month program. It's interdisciplinary, taking advantage of team-based learning for graduate level science courses that are integrated with clinical service, and it includes, for example, an anatomy section. So it's kind of med school light, but it's meant to be a preparation for doing something else after. Another program that is new to us, but not new to Duke, is the Master of Management in Clinical Informatics program. This was initially launched in Fuqua, and it has migrated from the business school to biostatistics and bioinformatics. We have our inaugural School of Medicine class in the program right now, and these are students from a wide variety of backgrounds. I'm not sure if you can see what's on the right side of the slide, but if you can, you'll see that they come from many different backgrounds. The majority are already in a career of some kind. And the point of this program is to develop both business and informatics skills to prepare the graduates for managerial and executive healthcare positions. A new program for staff development is our Research Professionals Network, which has grown out of the Duke Office for Clinical Research, or DOCR. This is a program for staff career development for research professionals that includes monthly seminars, regular communications, e-learning, support for certification, peer mentoring, networking, and other offerings. As I said, it's hosted by DOCR, and the idea is to leverage the expertise of very talented and experienced clinical research professionals across the school and across the university even. It creates a strong research community and fosters resource sharing and best practices, and you can see a group from that program at the bottom of the slide. I've talked before about some of our new information technology initiatives. There's a lot going on in that domain, and I'm only in the interest of time going to mention one today, but you'll hear much more in the coming months. There has been an effort to develop something called Core Research at Duke, which is a new online management system which will put in one place capability for determining the budgets for using core services, scheduling core service use, managing the services, and billing for them. So far, it includes 2 cores, integrated genomic analysis and research flow cytometry, but more are being added rapidly, and so this is going to grow. And the idea is, this is to make it really easy for people to not only know what cores we have, but also how to take advantage of them. And then finally, in this section, I want to mention that we have been putting a lot of emphasis on increasing our collaborations with the Pratt School of Engineering. What you see on the left side of the slide is just a shot of Dean Tom Katsouleas, the Dean of the Pratt School of Engineering, with Blake Wilson, who has faculty appointments both in engineering, in bioengineering, and in the Department of Surgery. Blake is the recipient of a big prize from the National Academy of Engineering that I'll mention again later. And what this photograph represents is when he gave the keynote lecture as part of Pratt's 75th anniversary celebration. And I have it here because the School of Medicine partnered with the School of Engineering to sponsor this lecture. On the right, you see another advertisement, this time for a town hall meeting for anyone from the School of Medicine or School of Engineering who is interested in thinking more about how our 2 schools can collaborate. In fact, people from other schools are also very welcome. This was supposed to have been held in February. We got snowed out. But what we will do in this room on April 1st is Tom and I will present what we've been thinking about as our vision for how there might be a more formal overall collaboration between our 2 schools. And then we'll have a panel of speakers from leadership in both schools, or a panel of people to help us answer questions. And we very much want this to be participatory. We want ideas, and we want to think about how we can move this forward. So now we are going to have our second video. And this is from our Office for Diversity and Inclusion.
Diversity and inclusion is a driver of excellence, and that's what we're really trying to convey across the School of Medicine. We've been focusing on how do we create the type of climate where all of the differences coming together really have the opportunity to be successful, that there are no barriers that shouldn't be there preventing people from being able to optimize their talent.
Having a diverse environment is critical for the development of our students, our faculty. I think it also increases our ability to be more creative, more productive. I think this is a great place for a minority individual to get the role models and mentoring that they need in order to achieve success.
Duke is a place where innovation is really the driving force, both from the sciences but also in coming up with new ways of making teams more effective. And diversity is integral to that. The School of Medicine has been very forward-thinking in terms of incentivizing this type of cultural change.
We have multiple diversity inclusion councils, some related to race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, or gender identity. We're also making sure that as an institution, all departments have to focus on diversity strategic plans. And so that is a huge, huge commitment to the institution to ensure that we are not just saying it, but we actually are helping our departments and everyone else within that, faculty, staff, etc., are engaging in effective ways to be able to address diversity inclusion within their specific areas.
Every interaction that we have with another individual is a cross-cultural interaction. Even if we come from the same ethnic or religious background, we can have different perspectives, and so that it's important to find out about the person as an individual. I think it's important that everybody feel included and valued in a setting. It brings out the best of each individual, and it also brings the best to the institution.
I should say that for both of the videos that you've seen, these are just excerpts, and there's actually a bit more that you can find through our website. So you heard Nadine mention that we have, we meaning Judy Seidenstein and Kenny Ellie in the Office for Diversity and Inclusion have organized councils for different identity groups, but they have also organized an inclusion council that cuts across all of the schools, started this last year, where faculty and staff members bring diverse perspectives, diverse backgrounds, experiences, and identities and come together. You saw a number of the members of the Inclusion Council in this video. There are others I see around the room. Come together and work on, act as a think tank to help us work through how to be a more inclusive organization, thinking about goals and strategy for diversity and inclusion, and acting as an advisory think tank and often as liaisons back to their home units. Something that arose more spontaneously is a coalition of Black physicians. This was started by 4 Duke residents who are also School of Medicine graduates. And these, you'll see them shown at the bottom with their names and their departments. And these 4 founders wanted to work to improve the community and climate, and particularly recruitment of African American residents and students. And so, as I understand it, this group has a lot of energy. Is anyone here today from that group? No. Well, they're so busy being residents, that's okay.